10 o'clock. What's going on live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs Studios? I am Robert Walsh. Big news for Team USA in the World Cup yesterday as FIFA announced that the forward Florin Belgian, Balogun? How you say his name?
Oh, my God.
You say his name.
Flo Balogun.
Well, that's not what Justin had written down.
Don't hurt yourself.
Will now be available to play in the USA's round of 16 match against Belgium tonight. But Belgium is being granted the appeal this morning against a FIFA disciplinary committee's decision in which they suspend the red card that was issued to U.S. striker during the round of 32 2-0 win over Bosnia last Wednesday. Tonight, kickoff between the U.S. and Belgium is at 7 p.m. in Seattle on Fox. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Good morning. Hope everybody's off to a great start on this Monday. We are going to help you get there if you are not having a spectacular Monday. You should be having a spectacular Monday because the U.S. men's national team takes on the hated Belgium tonight. 615-737-1045. Do we hate Belgium? I feel like they're tough to hate. I don't have any strong feeling against them one way or the other than they are our opponent in the round of 16 in tonight's World Cup action. And who are we getting back tonight, Robert? Who's playing tonight? What's his name?
Flo Balogun, of course. Why the hell is he called Flo if his name is spelled F-O-L?
F-O-L? It's not. That's just somebody.
Oh.
So the breaking sports news update that you stole from Justin because you didn't want to write your own this morning.
Oh, no, I forgot. I forgot that I have to do them because Lucas is not here.
You brought it up and then said, I'll just use Justin's.
No, that didn't happen.
30 minutes to go before the show?
That didn't happen.
I'm not even going to give you as much crap as I would normally give you today because you were very kind to pick me up from the airport this morning.
That's right.
And I had a great time doing some indoor football in Orlando last night. Flew down to Orlando for about 12 hours. Me and my buddy Jason Fitz of Yahoo Sports, who will be on with us later, we'll talk about Flo Balogun and the overturned red card situation that will allow him, at least for now, to play tonight against Belgium. Belgium does have the opportunity to appeal this. How crazy would it be if we're like an hour and a half away from kickoff and they're like, all right, Belgium, we hear you. No Flo Balogun. Good luck, U.S.
I don't want to let my colors fly or anything, but I think that would be bad. I think that would be bad for everyone involved if you're out there listening.
Well, that's what they're saying is they're saying that it's bad. I don't know who they are, but there is a contingent of the soccer-consuming population that is saying it is bad what FIFA has done here to overturn this red card and to put Flo Balogun, or to make Flo Balogun again eligible to compete in tonight's game after receiving a red card in the previous match due to what I think most of us, if not all of us, even in our limited soccer understanding for the vast majority of this country, they screwed up the review. They made a call based on the review process that they weren't actually supposed to do. They're not supposed to make calls based on still images, and that's what they did in the case of Flo Balogun.
And they can't use slow-mo. Not allowed to use slow-mo. That's against the rules. You guys cheated. Give us our player back.
Well, it's funny that you're doing that in the tone of the 47th president of the United States, Donald Trump, because he is saying that he made a call to FIFA. So we're going to hear from Donnie T later on. Don't yell at me. Don't get after me for stick to sports stuff today. If the president is calling the World Soccer Federation, or I guess that's different, FIFA, if he's calling FIFA, making a call to try and get our guy back on the field, you're going to hear from Donald Trump today.
Football is great. Or soccer. We're the only place that calls it soccer, but it's still great. It would be too much confusion. We love football. These are Super Bowl numbers.
He was giving a press conference this morning, and he was asked about this, and I said, Robert, I want that audio, and it's just 5 minutes of him rambling. He's all over the place. God love him.
That referee is a cheater. I don't want to say that publicly because I don't want to cause anything, but that referee is a cheater.
He said, well, you'll hear the audio here in just a second, but one of my favorite lines is, I don't like to start controversies, but if you want to know the history, I'll tell you.
I loved the.
Unbelievable.
I don't know if you watched the fireworks show over the weekend.
The Nashville fireworks?
No, whatever the one in D.C. was that looked like a war zone.
No.
It was incredible. There was a ton of fireworks. But
it's just smoke. You can't see the fireworks.
Well, you can see
They
them.
went they went too far with the fireworks. And it's just a giant cloud. It looked like somebody hit the Capitol with a nuke.
It was interesting. I loved the song choices. They hit some, and then others I was like, why the hell are they playing this song? But at one point in his speech on that, he's like, communism is a loser. And that just tickled me. That just tickled me.
So anyway, we will.
Yeah, this is the level of soccer. Without Lucas here, this is what you get. This is what you get.
I did damn near 4 hours of World Cup.
You were carried for 4 hours.
No, are you kidding me? Fitzy doesn't know anything about this stuff either.
His back hurts. We'll ask him about it.
Well, no, he carried me yesterday on the IFL broadcast. There's no doubt about it. Which again, I had a great time. I will say this, even though I am taking their money, I was not expecting to have a good time. I mean, Robert, you know how I can get in a mood before I got.
Boy, do I. Oh, slight inconvenience. I think I'll throw a tantrum.
I don't throw a tantrum. I just pout. Like I pout very audibly.
You give one of those like mean kid foot stomps, like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do it.
So I was doing that basically in the halls of the Kia Center, which is where the Orlando Magic and also the Orlando Pirates of the Indoor Football League play. Until we did the game. And then I had a great time. It was delightful. 52-50 was the final score of that IFL game. And apparently that's a low score. So Fitzy will join us. We'll ask him about the World Cup. We are going to do a lot of World Cup coverage today. I am also going to bitch and moan at some point about the NFL's top 100 players list because it's stupid. The next time.
I don't even want to get upset about it. It's so dumb.
Oh, no, I'm going to get upset about it because the next time that somebody calls in here or somebody tweets me or whatever and says, you in the media, you shouldn't be able to talk about football. Mina Kimes shouldn't be able to talk about football. Here's a list that the actual damn players in the National Football League voted on, and Jeffrey Simmons 83rd. NFL football players don't know ball. What are we doing? I got a whole 20 minutes on it coming up. Don't get me going now.
Okay, I don't want to get you upset, but you know the vote is split. The vote is split between like 3 different sects of people. Like it's coaches, players, and then front office people.
No, not the top 100.
Top 100 is only players.
Yes. The top one, I read up on it to make sure that I was accurate. There's a whole spread in GQ about it.
Okay, I was always under the assumption that it was coaches, players, and front office people.
There is a component of that is in the Pro Bowl. Unless they've changed it since that article was written. I've got the article in front of me. When was this article published? Okay, it's 2 years old. So maybe there have been some adjustments.
I could be wrong.
Either way, it's inexcusable that football people would put the back.
No, you're right. You're right.
20 minutes.
It is voted
on
entirely by active NFL players.
Yes,
you are correct.
I was pretty confident about that. So I'll yell at the players about not knowing football later.
It's okay. We can argue about the merits of Bryce Young and Jeffrey Simmons being ranked similarly.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
It's the summer. We can be mad about whatever we want to be mad about.
It's as close to feeling like a Titans fan as I ever had in my life. I lost my mind over that over the weekend. So anyway, we haven't been on since Wednesday. There's a million things that have happened since then, and the World Cup is taking precedent right now. The headline of, really the week has been that Balogun will be cleared to play for the U.S. men's national team tonight after he was handed a red card and a one-game suspension that FIFA initially confirmed and has since overturned. So he's a 25-year-old striker who has led the U.S. men's national team in goals so far. By the way, did you watch any of this yesterday, or were you coming back from Chicago?
I was watching any of what? The game? Like England-Mexico? Or
any of it.
I watched England-Mexico.
Okay.
I did not see the
because it was on delay. I ended up being able to watch the majority of that game because our IFL game did not start until 6 p.m. Central Time, and that game, England-Mexico, got delayed by almost a full hour and a half with lightning strikes around the stadium. The World Cup action has been awesome. Awesome. If Lucas was here, Lucas probably, should we put him on some kind of a watch list
He's
today?
fine. He's surrounded by his people. Like if it
I
was,
think that's a good thing right now.
if he was here and he had to mourn this alone, I would be worried about
He's
it.
not alone. It's not like we beat up on him when Brazil loses.
But it's the same thing when the Ravens lose. Like, I don't have someone here who understands my pain. And he wouldn't have someone here who understands his pain. So at least he can mourn around like-minded individuals who are also upset about Brazil falling flat on their face and just being decimated.
They really got by that damn Viking. That damn Viking running around out there, Holland, with his 7th goal of the tournament. So it's him, Messi, Mbappe for France, all have, and I think there might be one more player in this year's World Cup that also has 7 goals in the race for the Golden Boot, which is the best player of the World Cup, voted on by, I don't know who votes on I don't know if that's a media vote, a player vote. We'll have that information for you later on. Maybe some of you know this in our soccer ignorance. Again, Lucas is not here to carry us through World Cup coverage, but Robert, he sent to the text, we're going to do like when he was out for SEC Media Days and I didn't want to do it, so we made him do updates.
Oh, that's right. He did. He sent me some stuff. I haven't even watched them yet.
Yeah, he sent us some World Cup dates from Brazil. So we will get to Lucas's World Cup dates later on in the show and throughout the course of the week. It is pretty surprising to see FIFA do something that they, for the most part, in a World Cup, it seems like they've never done. Lucas texted us kind of explaining the situation around it and said that he had never seen anything like the overturned red card for Balogun in this particular situation. I'm reading the Athletics reporting now, multiple FIFA officials told The Athletic after the game, a team is not able to appeal against a red card or the subsequent suspension. Okay, so you're looking around and being like, well, that was fun while it lasted. We had a good run. Maybe Pulisic will do something worth a damn. I don't want to be too cruel to Pulisic. They haven't necessarily put him in the position to be the main facilitator of their offense, and I don't necessarily know Will would be able to speak more intelligently on this than I. Will was telling me if they tried to play Pulisic at striker, it would be a disaster, and so I'll heed his words on that in my own ignorance. But not able to appeal against a red card or the subsequent suspension, and yet here is Balogun available to play tonight in Seattle at Seattle Stadium, a.k.a. Lumen Field, where the Seahawks play, as of this weekend. It's crazy. So apparently Trump called FIFA President Gianni Infantino, who you will hear from Trump later in the show, and he calls him Johnny. It makes me laugh every time. A source familiar with the situation confirmed to The Athletic that a call did take place between the President of the United States and the President of FIFA. FIFA has been approached for comment, but has not given comment. And there's, of course, as there always is, a Trump tweet. Or what's his social media platform called?
Like the entire thing?
Yeah.
Truth Social?
I thought you were going to say Trump Social.
No.
This is a little too on the nose. He tweeted at some point after the news broke, quote, "Thank you to FIFA for doing what was right and reversing a great injustice."
I finally got to look at these World Cup dates that Lucas sent us. We have 2.
Okay.
One is valuable for today's information surrounding the U.S. playing Belgium.
Okay.
It's like a 4-minute.
Jesus, Lucas.
No, that's good. That's good. We need that.
No, we don't. I booked 2 guests today, so you didn't have to work that hard.
He also attached a video post Brazil mortem.
Oh, it's a video.
I have uploaded it so the entire chat can watch. Everyone, if you'd like to see Lucas miserable after Brazil lost, you need to get in the F&M Bank chat.
Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch is where we live stream the broadcast. You can always call us, of course, 615-737-1045. But the chat is active today. Everybody very excited for the U.S. men's national team game.
I can't even watch it. The still at the beginning of the video, looking at his face.
Is he sad?
Being lit. Dude, is he sad? I
can't believe he did it. Like, I'm actually surprised he did it, because I would have thought that he would have been like me, pouting and stomping around like a petulant child yesterday.
I assume his face is being lit by his father's pool in Brazil.
Oh, lovely.
And he looks disheveled. I don't know when you want to play this. Well, I feel like we
do it now.
Okay, hold on. Give me a second. So
you let me know when it's queued up and ready to go.
No, we're ready to go if you would like to see Lucas writhing in misery.
Okay, I have not seen this video either, so we will experience this live together. This is the first of what I expect will be a week-long series, Lucas Panzica's World Cup dates from his location unknown, other than he's in Brazil.
Okay, checking in, post-Brazil-Norway. Vibes are low. We have resorted to sulking by a moonlit pool out here in the middle of nowhere and just thinking and pondering about life and the world and the world's game after Erling Haaland went full Ron Slay and windmill dunked on Brazil's dreams for a 6th World Cup title. But it had me thinking that maybe the world is changing. Maybe the world's game is changing. And if Brazil's dream to add a 6th star to the jersey had to die so that the U.S.'s dream could fly on the wings of an eagle, then so be it. 2026 wasn't Brazil's time. 2026 is the U.S.'s time. It's the U.S. now that holds the weight of expectation. It's the U.S. that benefits from FIFA's mighty sword of corruption. And it's the U.S. that is going to take what is left of Belgium's golden generation and smack it in the face, not with an American golden generation, but with the first wave of an American pipeline of talent set to take over world soccer. Fuller and Balogun will be on the field. Christian Pulisic will be on the field. Tim Ream, Chris Richards, Weston McKennie, Tyler Adams. I can't believe Fuller and Balogun is going to be on the field. And the United States is going to run through Belgium in this World Cup round of 16 matchup. Right, Megan?
Oh, Megan made an appearance.
We got a Meg appearance.
Look at him. So he knew that game was over because Haaland went out there and slayed them like a dragon. Not even a dragon. I mean, did you watch any of that game yesterday?
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. I missed the Brazil game. As soon as I saw, I got a tweet that was like, I need a welfare check on Lucas. I was like, oh, no, buddy, not like this.
So that was well done by Lucas. That is the man. That is the visage of a man who knew that he was defeated probably by half. Like, I think he knew that game was over. Erling Haaland is just a monster out there. He doesn't touch the ball ever. And when he does, he scores. That header that gave them one of the goals in that game was, I mean, as soon as he was in the vicinity, you knew that he was going to score. So with Neymar out there on the field, Neymar got a goal late to make it look a little closer than it actually was. But Neymar was out. I mean, Neymar's kind of washed at this point in his career. He's out there chirping at the Norwegian team while they're getting ready for their in-sync row that they do, the Viking row, which delights me.
It's performative. It's so performative. We get it. Your people haven't rowed a boat in generations.
What?
Your people, you guys aren't even the coolest Vikings that existed. You're not Leif Erikson. You're not Eric the Red.
What do you mean? No, you like Haaland. Where is this coming from?
Not anymore. Not anymore. Not like this. Not after this has to be how all the other good guys felt when they saw Shawn Michaels threw Marty Jannetty through a glass window. I thought the Killer Bees were cool. I thought you were cool, Shawn. Then you turn your back on your friend like that. You want to smack Brazil around like that? You're not cool. You're the opposite of cool.
Oh, you're now who's being performative? Because,
no, and I'm going to take up a sword for Lucas's fallen soul.
Why?
That happened in this.
Who cares?
Because it's the U.S.'s time.
They're done.
They're done, but we're not. And their memory will live on through us.
Because corruption.
Corruption is not bad.
Yes.
Corruption is only bad if I'm not involved.
Yes.
But if I'm part of that corruption, I'll defend it.
Yeah, USA, USA, USA.
Come on.
Yes, corruption is bad, except if it's in our favor. And the U.S. is the beneficiary of FIFA corruption for now. We'll see if Belgium, the craziest part of this story is if Belgium's appeal of the appeal is actually heard. And for some reason, Balogun's not able to get out there on the field because for some reason FIFA has, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with FIFA. I just know right now it's in our favor and we're good with it. 615-737-1045, the number if you want to get involved. We are going to, all right, I'm going to get this Jeffrey Simmons stuff out of the way because it happened a couple of days ago, so it's kind of old news, but I'm still pissed off about it. I'm Buck Rising. It's 1045, The Zone.
A day at the spa, the perfect gift for birthdays, anniversaries, or any occasion. Lavish and luxurious, yet affordable. A grand gesture, yet simple for you. The gift card from A Moment's Peace. Give her the gift she won't buy herself. An escape, a bit of luxury. Something special that shows more than just words. A gift from A Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa in Cool Springs across I-65 from Galleria Mall. Call 615-224-0770 or go online at amomentspeace.com anytime.
The guaranteed offer is the simplest, least stressful way to sell your home. You go to our website, you fill out a quick form, we set an appointment, we bring you an all-cash offer. Literally, there's no lockbox on the front of your house, there's no showings, we pay all cash, we close in as little as 21 days, stress-free. We've helped thousands of homeowners just like you sell your home the hassle-free way with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate.
This is a different court, Blair.
Same result, Slay.
Oh, okay, Blair. See, that's Tyler Tanner. See, Tyler Tanner's in the house now.
Let's see what you got. Jury's out, Blair.
Blair, come on. Okay, Blair, just come sit down. Come on, Blair, stop. You're going to get hurt. Blair, get off the court. That's enough.
What's the verdict, Blair? The courtroom is where I play ball.
Boy, Durham, injury law. And that ain't got no roof.
So if not for the World Cup, we would have nothing to talk about. So we're very grateful that this tremendous sporting event has arrived in the U.S. and Canada and Mexico and has captivated us as a nation. It's been so much fun. I was mentioning before I brought up the fact that Lucas is going to provide us World Cup dates throughout the course of the week as he spends a week in Brazil with his family, unfortunately for him. And the rest of that country, Brazil was not able to best Norway. Norway advances to the Final Eight. Brazil just really kind of beat themselves yesterday, so tough scene. But if Lucas was not in Brazil this week, Robert, I would have abandoned the two of you anyway, because Egypt is in the round of 16, and they're playing just down the road from us, about a 30-minute flight away in Atlanta, and they're playing Messi. They get we want Bama, we got Messi. So Egypt is going to take on Argentina at it's Mercedes-Benz Stadium, but not
Atlanta
Stadium. At Atlanta Stadium. And so I was trying to figure out a way in which I could also abandon ship tomorrow, even though this game starts at 11 a.m. Central Time, and scurry on down to Atlanta Stadium to watch the Egyptian national team play.
Well, what time do they play?
11 a.m.
Yeah, you could. Oh.
You think they'd just let me sit in the press box at Atlanta Stadium and do the radio show while I watch the Egyptian national team?
No.
Yeah,
no, they wouldn't. That's unfortunate for you. Well, at least you could watch it in the studio. Oh, wait.
Well, I'm going to watch it in the studio. I'm going to watch it in the studio. I'm going to be pretty useless tomorrow from 11 a.m. on. Because
Ben Jones or Brett Kern, does anyone like to guest host the show tomorrow? So
have we had Brett in to talk about World Cup stuff?
I think we were going to try to have him last week, but he was in on like a family trip.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to bother him during his summer vacation because obviously he has kids who are on summer break, and this is a great time to be able to get out and take some trips and spend some time. So I would like Brett's soccer analysis at some point, though. I'll give him a call maybe after the show today and see what his availability looks like at any point. I would welcome Brett. I mean, Brett and Ben and Nate and any of them who have given their time during the show, to the show during football season, and we very much look forward to having them being a part of the show again during football season. Brett is also our Masters correspondent and our golf, our soccer analyst. So we will touch base with Titans legend Brett Kern at some point this week, hopefully. Anyway, Russell says I kind of look like Mo Salah. Yeah, because I'm Egyptian. He's also Egyptian. We share that. Yes, Egyptians look like Egyptians.
It's also how you feel about Titans coverage.
What do you mean?
You would like Mo Salah.
Do I not get it?
Like more Salah. You would like more Robert Salah.
Because that's the name of the coach.
Yes. Dig deep. Today is a tough day.
It's not a tough day.
Okay.
You're being me today. Why are you being so dramatic?
I'm not being. You're the one that didn't get Mo Salah. You didn't get it.
I forgot it. I forgot
his name. I forgot to coach his name.
It's been nice to not have to think about them for a little while, if I'm being completely honest with you.
Well, go back to thinking about him because Jeffrey Simmons.
Okay, yeah, I will. So it's a slow time of year, other than the World Cup, which has given us so much to talk about, and we've thoroughly enjoyed it. In a normal year, a non-World Cup season, a non-World Cup season that's not being hosted in the United States in part, we would have nothing but the NFL's top 100 to talk about. And so I'm very grateful that we don't have to talk about this stupid list. This list has been in existence since when? Do you remember the first NFL top 100 when it debuted? I can tell you the year.
2015.
11.
Wow.
2011. So this awful thing has been a part of our lives for
since I was in high school.
Way too long, okay? And there are years where there are things that you could quibble with on the list. It's a little bit like the Pro Bowl, where some guys coast off brand equity more than they do actual player production. A lot of times in the Pro Bowl voting, you don't see dudes recognized until the year after they've had their coming out year, their big year, right? Peter Skoronski should have been a Pro Bowler last year. If Skoronski's a Pro Bowler next year, nobody will be surprised because he's at least carved out a part of the public consciousness, even though guard's a tough position to do that. But you get the Pro Bowl as more of a popularity vote. Now, the NFL's top 100 is voted on exclusively by active NFL players. And so with that nugget, that bit of information in mind, I need you to understand that. Because when I saw that Jeffrey Simmons was ranked 83rd out of a possible 100 by his peers, not by me, not by, I don't know, who's a national media figure, Kyle Brandt or Adam Schefter or NFL media personality X. It's not done by CBS Sports for the purposes of driving up social media engagement or one of these gambling outlets that seems to like to do that. It's not rage bait, which I think is an overused term. I think it's just a term that people use when they don't agree with something. They deem it rage bait. How could you possibly think differently than me? No, this is voted on by active NFL players. And a jury of his peers voted Jeffrey Simmons the 83rd best player in football. Robert, who are the players who are bookending Jeffrey Simmons in the NFL's top 100, again, as voted on by active NFL players?
Bookend as in his top 10?
Who's on either side of Jeffrey? So who's 82 and who's 84?
Gotcha. So for Jeffrey Simmons, Jalen Ramsey is one spot ahead of him at 82.
Okay, that's probably right. For where Jalen Ramsey is in his career, that's probably right.
Or don't rank him. Because he's
too.
been okay. I mean, he was fine for the Steelers last year, but his ranking is depreciating. He's 16 spots lower than he was last year.
Well, but that's 82 to me indicates a fine football player. A football player who is fine but also has a famous name. Jalen Ramsey is both of those things.
Sure. One spot behind him is former Tennessee linebacker Byron Young, pass rusher for the Rams.
Yes. Byron Young is a really good player. In fact, maybe I'm not surprised that he's not higher on that list. He's probably not the first defender that you name, especially with Jared Verse being traded now. But he's a quality pass rusher on a team that's got a handful of guys up front before they traded for Myles Garrett this offseason. Nobody in the world would say that 2025 Jeffrey Simmons was anywhere in the ballpark of 2025 Jalen Ramsey or 2025 Byron Young, who are, again, not bad players. I'm not doing this to urinate on the names of these two other guys, okay? I'm doing this to say there's not 15 players at any position better than Jeffrey was last year. And the fact that I am seeing this from active NFL football players who are voting on this, I think this list shouldn't exist. Like, I understand why it exists, because summer is traditionally a slow time in sports content, conversation. We don't have active football games that we can broadcast. I mean, we have, these spring leagues. I just did an IFL game yesterday. The UFL has been going on. There are other football leagues that you can consume, but none with the popularity of the NFL. We understand this. So a lot of times this list is produced, but I can't remember a time where something this offensive has been on it. Ramon calls it the Titans tax. When you play for a franchise that is a bit of a nowhere franchise, and certainly a franchise that is not held in great esteem even when they are good, and it's been some time since they've been good. I've called it the we suck luxury tax, that you just have to pay more to get people to come here if you're not in a competitive window, and they've had to do that the last couple of years. Ramon has called like the Madden ratings for Titans players, or the different things that you see produced about Titans players and their abilities being denigrated. He's deemed it the Titans tax. This, to me, is as offensive an example of the Titans tax as I could find. He's the best interior defensive lineman in the sport. He had double-digit sacks last year for a team that did absolutely nothing to help him. There's not another play. How many people in the country can name another Titans player that's not Jeff? Yes, you probably know that Cam Ward was the number 1 overall pick a couple of years ago. But Cam Ward's not a star. Cam Ward's not on this list. Cam Ward's not a top half of the league quarterback when last we saw him. Maybe he will be this year. That would be a projection. So Jeff is the only player of consequence on this roster, except for Morgan Cox, who is a long snapper. Morgan Cox has been excellent for a long, long time. We understand that the long snapper is not going to get his shine here. So it's really just Jeff. if you cannot recognize as NFL athletes, as people who game plan against this guy, he's the only one you got a game plan for. Who the hell else do you have to worry about on the Titans in 2025 other than that one? And you don't even have to know his name. You just know 98. Because a lot of these dudes wouldn't be able to tell you names, but they'll be able to tell you numbers as far as watching tape and preparing for their opponent that week. And admittedly, how many people watched the Tennessee Titans that didn't have to watch the Tennessee Titans last year? The answer is precious few. There was a period of time late in the season where they couldn't even get their games broadcast in Knoxville or Memphis. So you've never had a smaller pool than you did last season for people to actually see what Jeff was doing. But even then, Robert, highlights exist. That Houston sack alone, at Houston, early in the season, after the wee ass, or I guess before the wee ass quote, where he times the snap so well that C.J. Stroud has no idea what's happening and Jeffrey Simmons is already in his lap. He comes into last season as physically transformed as he's ever been, playing a little under 300 pounds, still maintains that Cosell deems it country strength, right? Jeff is always going to have some degree of strength to him, even if he physically appears slighter. He wasn't slight, he was just fit. And played the best football of his career on a team that did absolutely nothing and was wretched to watch. We understand this, but you have to respect that. You have to respect that he still, despite knowing he was going absolutely nowhere last year, and despite not wanting to be traded, even though everybody looked around and said, Jeff, you could do a lot better for yourself. Here, I'm sure we were having a conversation. I can't remember exactly the nature of our conversation. I don't think I wanted Jeff traded, but I could understand the logic to it. That he wanted to stick it out here and was still performing at an incredibly high level. At least give him the recognition for that, beyond the fact that he was simply excellent at his position. It's not an individual sport. But he did about as much as an individual as anybody could in a team sport last year. I think it's offensive. I think this list needs to just be shot into the sun. I'm tired of the NFL Top 100, and not just because of this. It's a stupid thing. You're asking the players, because I'm sure the players don't feel good about this either. They're situated. This is a nationally televised. If we did like a peer review here at the Zone, and
it's like, yeah, give me your top 10 broadcasters at the Zone.
Not even. We'll make it your top two. Who are the best two people on air here? And we all vote on it. And then we publicize the rankings that they come out. Somebody's going to come away from that feeling bad unnecessarily just because of the aggregate way that they compile the vote. And it doesn't mean that person's bad. It just means that, their peers don't necessarily think they're as good as, I don't know, whoever you might pick in that situation. It's a stupid exercise that's done to fill time on a network. I think we can just play an NFL game. Put an old NFL game on TV if you just need content to fill. Because this exercise, it accomplishes nothing other than to make somebody like Jeffrey Simmons, who busted his ass last year, be like, really? It's a respect thing. You guys don't respect what I did last year? And maybe that pushes him to another level. And maybe he and the Tennessee Titans defense and Titans fans are the beneficiary of Jeff feeling slighted yet again. But I don't know. They don't need pity, right? These are prideful, accomplished, grown-ass men. So they don't need, for me, to come up here to bitch and moan and to say, man, I just feel bad for him. But I do. I feel bad for him because I know how hard he worked. And then for his peers to tell him, no, you're the 83rd best player in football. Man, get the hell out of here. That's garbage.
If you'd like to twist the knife a little more, the 4 players, they've only announced up to 79 currently. The 4 players that are positioned in front of Jeff, Jalen Ramsey, Bobby Wagner, A.J. Brown.
Bobby Wagner?
Travis Kelce. All of them fine players and big named players.
Yeah, they've been famous for a long time.
But all of them are in decline. All of them had down years compared to what the average or what you expect from those players. Jeffrey did not. Jeff Simmons had the best season of his career. And as you noted, the best season of a defensive tackle last year in the NFL. It's a slap in the face to be ranked among these players who are falling off of the NFL scale while Jeff was tipping it on the other side. That's twisting the knife. Speaking of twisting the knife, you said NFL should just play games, just play old games instead. They played the Titans-Bengals playoff game this weekend, so maybe don't play. Okay, anyone but that one. Don't play that game.
I don't think I've watched that game back since they played it. I would be curious to watch that. I would. That just out of morbid curiosity. Obviously, a Titans fan doesn't need to relive that, but I would like to watch that game back. Oof. Anyway, 615-737-1045, the number. If you want to jump in, you are welcome to do so at any point throughout the course of the morning. Do you want to talk about Taylor Swift's wedding?
I was inundated with news from this wedding.
Inundated.
Inundated. Inundated?
Inundated.
Either way, I don't know if I dated him or not. But when I was absorbed with this entire thing because Cheyenne would not let me go.
Did you see Adam Sandler was the officiant? Did you see that they made Donna fly commercial? Did you see? I don't care.
But I'll indulge you.
Next. Nothing worse than having to call someone to work on your air conditioner unit, especially right now when it's as hot as hell outside, or fix a plumbing problem, having no idea what it will cost. Well, you don't have to worry about that with Hiller Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. The price they quote you is the price you will actually pay. They're the most trustworthy plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical company I've ever dealt with. Their experts are truly that, experts. They are professional, experienced, and trustworthy. And when they're on their way, you'll receive a photo of the tech and a link to track them in real time so you don't waste your time waiting around. As Hiller says, 100% satisfaction guaranteed of Happy You'll Be, or the service is free. So Happy Hiller gets its name honestly. It's a family-owned and operated business that's been around for 35 years, so you know that they know a thing or two about plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical issues. So don't live in the heat. Call Happy Hiller and book online today at happyhiller.com.
A day at the spa, the perfect gift for birthdays, anniversaries, or any occasion. Lavish and luxurious, yet affordable. A grand gesture, yet simple for you. The gift card from A Moment's Peace. Give her the gift she won't buy herself. An escape, a bit of luxury. Something special that shows more than just words. A gift from A Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa in Cool Springs across I-65 from Galleria Mall. Call 615-224-0770 or go online at amomentspeace.com anytime.
Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. That was the only thing that was missing from my July 4th festivities, is I did not make my way to Hattie B's at any point this weekend, but I think I may do that just this afternoon. I don't know if Hattie B's was a part of the catering at Taylor Swift's wedding at Madison Square Garden. I know that everybody, at least in this country, is finding some kind of a Taylor Swift angle to get the engagement, to get the clicks, to feel like they are, at least in some way, shape, or form, attached to what happened at Madison Square Garden over the weekend. Robert, I just, as a Google search, just as an exercise, wanted to see what the top articles would come up if I Googled Taylor Swift wedding. Okay?
Ooh, how long does it take Donna to be involved?
I see 5 articles before I found Donna Kelsey flying commercial.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I expected her to be higher on the list.
Okay.
What about her new bay windows?
Well, the bay windows are being covered vigorously by TMZ. But no other outlet seems to have latched onto that very, very important news story in the public consciousness. No. Do you want to take a guess what the top 4 articles when you Google Taylor Swift wedding are?
5 things you missed about Taylor and Travis's wedding.
Yes.
That's on there?
That's on there.
Okay.
And I mean, it's phrased a little differently, what it was like inside Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding. So essentially 5 things to know. It's like a Jimmy Wyatt article.
Who were the 5 most interesting guests or something of that ilk?
Yeah.
Guests you missed at Taylor's wedding. Something about Adam Sandler.
Yes.
And then something about what she was wearing.
All correct, except you are missing one.
Ooh.
Canadian lobster gains exposure after being photographed at Taylor Swift's wedding.
The one from the Amanda Bynes show? Bring in the dancing lobsters? I had no idea she was still in the sphere.
This is from Undercurrent News, where they cover such important stories as America tightens budget, lobster still anchors summer food service promotions.
Are they ran by Big Lobster? Are we sure?
Right whale closures hamper Canadian lobster harvesters as clock runs out on season.
Undercurrent, that is an only C news story.
That's right.
Publication.
U.S. wholesale, live frozen lobster prices climb again as U.S. Independence Day demand meets tight supply.
That website is ran by crabs. Like the same thing that other website is like, oh, eat more chicken, eat more beef. This is ran by crabs, and they are trying to knock the lobster population down.
So, yes, Taylor Swift, Undercurrent News, doing vigorous reporting on the delicacies that were being served. Just one kind of delicacy that was being served at Taylor Swift's wedding. It was unavoidable, right? And I know we're talking about it now, so if you were looking to avoid it, we've just brought it again to the forefront. But I can't remember, like, who but the royal family of the United Kingdom gets covered this way? Is she like the closest thing that we have to the American royal family? I know that some people would kind of balk at that assertion, but we don't cover anybody in America like this woman.
Yeah, I don't think anybody even comes close.
Right? Like, who is even second? The President of the United States does not get the kind of coverage that Taylor Swift does. Positive or negative.
God, I don't even know who would be second. Like if Sabrina Carpenter started dating Justin Herbert or something?
I really think that it's Trump. Like, I think Trump is second on the list. We call the President of the United States the leader of the free world. The leader of the free world is second in terms of daily news coverage to Taylor Swift. It's wild. The video that caught, I'm sure, most people's attention locally was Vrabel in attendance at the wedding, and I don't know what the connection is there, and I wouldn't pretend to care. But he is now being followed perpetually by TMZ cameras, and Jen, his wife, was there with him. So that was being hyper-scrutinized, hyper-analyzed. The New York Post and TMZ trying to get one last gasp that isn't a Diana Rossini police camera out of the Vrabel story that was going on there. But yeah, you could not avoid. How many women? Well, I guess it's just your fiance, but the amount of women that will text you just simply about Taylor Swift wedding factoids that you did not ask for, you were not seeking. You are being inundated at every turn. And it's not, I'm not one of those people who like dislikes her because of the amount of coverage. Just like, who is this for? And I understand that it's not for me.
Well, there were families waiting outside of the wedding, outside of Madison Square Garden, just to get a glimpse. I believe that woman referred to it as their royal wedding. Had her kids out there waiting just to get a glimpse.
Well, but they basically shut down New York City to hold this wedding because of the amount of additional security and privacy that she was requesting, or that she demanded, for lack of a better term, to host this event. I'm sure many venues would have liked to have hosted the Taylor Swift wedding, and Madison Square Garden got the honor, for lack of a better term. But yeah, I'm sure you had, I bet, Robert, I bet it is not a stretch to say that there were a number in the thousands of people outside of this wedding trying to just see her in a wedding dress. And to her credit, there's not much out there at all, other than, what it was like to be on the inside at Taylor Swift's wedding. You can read it at the New York Times if you're so interested. 615-737-1045, the number. We'll get back to the U.S. men's national team. A huge game tonight against Belgium. We've got projections for you for what it would look like, what Fox is telling you it would look like if the U.S. men were able to reach the World Cup final. We'll get to that in the second hour, coming up next.
11 o'clock. Good morning. Live from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I am Robert Walsh. Big news for Team USA in the World Cup yesterday as FIFA announced that forward Flo Balogun will now be available to play in the USA's round of 16 match against Belgium tonight. But Belgium has been granted their appeal this morning against the FIFA Disciplinary Committee's decision in which they suspended the red card that was issued to the U.S. striker during the round of 32's 2-0 win over Bosnia last Wednesday. Tonight, kickoff between the U.S. and Belgium is at 7 p.m. in Seattle on Fox. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
So among the many things that have happened since last we were on air, which I guess would have been last Wednesday, is that Robert Walsh produced a tweet, a mea culpa, if you will, regarding the World Cup. Do you want to take your public admission to the air, or you want to just keep it on social media?
Trying to remember what I tweeted. Hold on.
It's not been that long.
Yes,
that drunk in Chicago this week?
It was about UTEP's new logo. Have you seen this? As UTEP enters the new era in the Mountain West, the Miners have unveiled their new logo and their mascot, Pay Dirt Pete. It was terrible. It looks like it was AI. I am ashamed of nothing. It is a 0 out of 10 mascot redo, and I hope the people at UTEP feel bad about it. Oh, you're talking about the World Cup, how I was wrong about it. I was so wrong.
Read your tweet.
I was so wrong about the World Cup. Or did you mean down a man for half an hour? Good. Play our music. And then I tagged the Hulk Hogan, I am a real American.
Were you driving?
I was riding.
Okay.
Yes, I let Cheyenne do most of the driving. She loves it. She's a big fan of driving, and she likes when I'm able to relax. So I put my feet up and enjoyed the U.S. game.
Many people are saying this.
One thing I do not like about this, and Lucas helped me come to this realization.
Well, slow down. You were texting us vigorously from the road because you and Cheyenne went and spent a lovely weekend together in Chicago for the 4th of July, which you said you enjoyed.
Oh, it was fantastic. Chicago, fantastic city.
Yes, and you said you could live there, and I said, well, no, you really can't outside of 3 months of the year.
I keep the weight on me. I keep this blubber. That's what helps me keep warm.
That first, if you ever seen those Canada Goose jackets that cost like $500?
Oh, with the down, yeah.
There's a reason why everybody in that city owns one. Okay. Because you are living in the Arctic Circle for 9 months of the year.
I met a couple that said that they have 4 pair of shorts. It's like I don't ever wear. We never wear shorts here.
Yeah,
Sans like these 3 months.
So you were driving to Chicago and you were listening to the broadcast of the U.S. men's national team game prior to them advancing against Belgium. So this was the Bosnia-Herzegovina game.
Correct.
And you were complaining that you were not able to properly visualize what was happening, the action, because for some reason this is the one place where FIFA went cheap and just is simulcasting their television broadcast on radio networks.
Yes. Lucas said that there are no radio rights holders for these games. So they are just slapping the TV broadcast on Sirius or whatever you listen to the game on. So I was like, they never update time on this. Why the hell are they never updating time? Like, it's so hard to visualize because I like radio calls. I like listening to games on the radio. It's like, it's very old school. I like the way, because it's a different way of calling the game. You're painting a picture for the listener rather than describing it in flat ways. You have to be colorful. You have to provide context. And I couldn't tell anything that was going on, mostly because I don't know the players' names.
Fair.
But the other part of it is like, I don't know where they are on the field. I don't know what's going on. The game's not for me.
And I can't say that I've heard Lucas do soccer broadcasts before, and Lucas does a really good job at it. But I'm mostly just listening because it's Lucas is on the radio, and I'll listen to that a little bit without actually paying attention to what's going on there. It's why, Robert, I am I am a Titans radio fan without being a fan of the Titans because Mike Keith, there's nobody better. In the history of NFL local team broadcasts, and I will tell you because at a different point, Lucas still doesn't believe me that I've heard at least a portion of all 32 NFL home team broadcasts because at the very onset of my career, I used to have to cut clips, which is just a hell unto itself. And so I've heard.
Oh, yeah, it's really tough.
What, cutting clips?
Yeah. It's how I cut my teeth, you know?
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to live that way anymore. So what I was having to do that for a different radio show, I would get get access to all of the different calls from all 32 teams over the weekend. And I'd have to sift through looking for good play-by-play calls because we would use, on the show that I was helping at the time, right out of college, we would use play-by-play calls from different teams. There was such a stark difference between Mike Keith and everybody else. And I don't know that he's an artist. And I don't say this because Mike is a friend and somebody who I have great respect for and you know, it's not like Mike's listening to this, so it's not like I'm blowing smoke up his ass just for the sake of doing it. But he's a legit artist in the way that he helps you see the game. I don't know that I've had another experience listening to a radio play-by-play guy. Kevin Harlan is really good at this, but like that's the class that Mike is in. Kevin Harlan, right? Just top tier. So I always had tremendous respect and was a fan of Titans radio because you could listen to it as a fan of any team, or like me, a fan of no team, and enjoy the quality of the broadcast. And that's a credit to, you know, Mac and Mike and Rhett and everybody that worked on Titans radio during that time. So when you are trying to visualize, when you're listening to I was surprised that you were listening to the U.S. men's game in the car on the way up to Chicago. You seem to be as into it as anybody, based on the amount of text that you were sending. What is that group text called? Big Dog Chat.
It's either the Big Dog Chat or the Cat Chat. One of the two. I can't remember which one.
It's not Cat Chat. It's the one that's Slay and Ramon in it.
Oh yes, that's Big Dog Chat. Yes,
so it's the three of us and Ramon and Slay. And Slay and Ramon, or rather Ramon really is trying to glean some additional soccer expertise from Lucas. Lucas is there to educate us, and Robert and I are just there to, you know, throw grenades in the chat and make exclamatory claims about soccer and how the world hates the U.S. after we got the red card and all these different things.
Yeah, I was so upset. So. Kick them all out. Don't let them play here anymore.
Well, your president's working on that. Except for the one. We can keep the one, right? Again, this is largely a TN premise, but there was a huge Supreme Court ruling last week striking down what Trump was trying to get rid of, which is birthright citizenship, which means if you're born in the United States, you are a citizen of the United States. And it is not lost on me the irony that Flo Balogun is considered a birthright citizen, which is why he's allowed to play for our team, because his pregnant mother got stuck here. They wouldn't let her travel, so she had to have her kid in the United States, which is why we get Balogun on the U.S. men's national team. It goes back to a conversation that we were having before the World Cup. The reason I bring up your tweet about why were you wrong about the World Cup? Let's start there.
It's really stinking good.
It's amazing.
It's really stinking good. Because before, my foray with soccer had been, 1-0, game over.
Yeah.
That's it. But every game has got you hanging on the edge of your seat. There's goals being scored. There's shootouts. There's superstars. There's storylines. Like there is something going on.
There's corruption. There's political.
Every single game.
Yeah.
Every single game is worth paying attention to. And if you didn't watch it, you're upset that you didn't watch it, that you missed something that everyone else is in on. Like, that's what I like. That's why I can get up for this. And where I could not normally do that for soccer, and also corruption.
Corruption is not bad. Corruption is only bad if I'm not involved.
Yes.
But if I'm part of that corruption, I'll defend it.
God, I love that so much.
So good. So I ask you that because Lucas and I, well, it was really me. It was I was needling you before the World Cup started, and I meant it when I said the World Cup is my favorite sporting event. Okay, college basketball is my favorite sport. NFL is how I pay my mortgage. The World Cup is my favorite sporting event. So, and I was giving you a hard time saying, summer sports, NBA Finals, electric, Knicks winning the title. Stanley Cup was a lot of fun, even though the Canes kind of had it in hand in the last, you might say the last 2 games. It was pretty well decided that they would be the eventual Stanley Cup champions, and we were on the verge of the World Cup, and I was giving you a hard time, and I was saying, I don't know, summer sports, may have something here, and you were fighting me tooth and nail, saying that you would rather watch a Cardinals-Texans game at noon on a Sunday in Week 5, and I don't fault you for that. You are like most Americans that way, and that's okay. It surprises me, though, when I see something like this. So Colin Cowherd, who works at Fox Sports Radio, had Mike Mulvihill on his podcast. Mike Mulvihill is somebody who works at Fox, the network, television network, and is chief of their insights and analytics, okay, for the television network Fox. And obviously Fox is hosting or is broadcasting, has the broadcast rights to the World Cup. So what Mulvihill is saying, if we really allow ourselves to just think as big as possible, talking about Fox as a network projecting, okay, could the U.S. be in the final? If the U.S. were to get to the final Sunday afternoon, to me, that's a 50 million viewer type of match. Now, there's a reality in which tonight's game draws 50 million viewers because it's in primetime. Mulvihill is kind of couching this by saying it's a Sunday afternoon broadcast, so it's a standalone broadcast, but it's an afternoon. It's not a primetime broadcast that would allow us to get the biggest number on the West Coast, the biggest number on the East Coast, the biggest number in the rest of the country. That would rival if they got 50 million viewers for a FIFA U.S. men's national team game. Last year on Fox, the Seahawks over the Rams, the NFC Championship game, 46.1 million. The Broncos on CBS against the Patriots, which God help the 48.6 million people that watched that game, but 48.6 million people watched that AFC Championship game, though it was gross. 50 million on Fox standalone. That's not international viewing, right? So you can't take the world's viewing number and say, we at Fox, we had 1 billion people around the world watching this. No, because Fox is only the English language broadcast partner of FIFA. But even then, Robert, that seems to me low. And Fitzy was kind of fighting me we do a show as well for Fox Sports Radio on Saturdays from 5 to 7 normally. We were on from 3 to 7 this past weekend because of the holiday. And Fitzy was kind of fighting me a little bit, pushing back a little bit, saying, so the biggest moment, the biggest sports moment in our country, which would be the U.S. men's national team playing for the World Cup final, that would only be ballpark around an average AFC or NFC championship game? And I wasn't able to push back on him much because that's Fox's projection. They're saying, if we could get to an American football conference championship game number, that would be as big as we allow ourselves to dream. The U.S. being in the final would be unthinkable. If they are to beat Belgium tonight, they would have to at some point see Spain or France or another one of these top actual World Cup contenders. I think if you're in the final 16, we are an actual World Cup contender. Zlatan Ibrahimovic was talking about this on Fox. He said he was asked by Rebecca Lowe, can the U.S. win the World Cup? He said definitively yes. I assume Zlatan knows more ball than the rest of us. I would be surprised, though, if we were in the final and we only got to an AFC, NFC championship game number. I would be pretty stunned by that, to see the way that this thing has captivated everybody in this country. Because to your point, you don't want to miss it. This is one of the few moments in time where we are all united, right? It's Canada versus the U.S. in the gold medal match, which you didn't watch. Don't look at me like that. You didn't watch it. You were very proud in your ignorance. You were like this ABC7 reporter talking about Bosnia and Herzegovina.
I think I watched like a piece of it.
No, that's not true.
I've definitely watched like clips.
I don't think that's true. Do you think we would do better or worse than 50 million people if we were in the final? Because I have to think that number's low. I have to think that they're kind of slow playing it a little bit. And to say that it would only match an AFC or NFC championship game. I understand it's the most popular sport in America, but I have to think that it would dwarf that number.
I think it would blow it out of the water.
Right?
If you can get people like me who had zero interest in soccer to watch it, I think about everyone else that would be. I think they would blow that number out of the water.
I happen to think so too. Well, we can yell at Fitzy about it. Fitzy's going to be on with us. In fact, coming up next, we'll talk a little bit about the U.S. men's national team game tonight. We'll talk a little bit about the indoor football game that Fitzy and I did last night because it was a lot of fun. I was surprised by that. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone.
The guaranteed offer is the simplest, least stressful way to sell your home. You go to our website, you fill out a quick form, we set an appointment, we bring you an all-cash offer. Literally, there's no lockbox on the front of your house, there's no showings, we pay all cash, we close in as little as 21 days, stress-free. We've helped thousands of homeowners just like you sell your home the hassle-free way with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate.
It's Ramon Foster, and I'm with Aaron from United Structure Systems. Man, they came by today to check out my house. If there's anything, any issues, small or big, you're gonna fill us in there.
We can take care of it no matter what kind of problems. So first off, we'll just kind of take a look through your house and see what kind of issues you got going. You know, cracks in the brick, cracks in the drywall, weird spots in the floor, doors sticking, windows not opening properly. Once we identify those areas, we're going to do a thorough inspection around the outside, make sure there's no issues going on with that. And then once we look over it, we'll talk about what's going on, and hopefully we ain't got no issues, and then we'll go from there.
Let's go. Let's go.
Ms. Foster, so we have looked at the issues that you brought up. We had the drywall in the attic up here above your bonus or your garage. You had some doors sticking.
I did.
Going in your bathroom. So we've inspected all that. We don't see any major structural concerns. So you're going to be one of our lucky good news customers today. There is some minor deflection there. That's not an uncommon thing. As any house is built, it's its biggest and its strongest the day that it's born. Gotcha. Right? And from that point, it just gets older, just like us. We ain't hopping up out of bed, taking off down the hallway, running downstairs. And
not protecting quarterbacks anymore.
No.
Opening up late. We're done.
Your guard ain't there no more.
Okay, so, I got you.
So it just happens. It gets a little older and it starts to deflect. Now, there are some things we can do to kind of help adjust those doors, mainly adjusting in the door, which we don't necessarily do, and maybe doing some light shimming in the crawl space down there to address those sticking doors. But for now, no major issues there. We did talk about the grading in the back and some issues that we can take care of back there for you. But that's pretty much up in a nutshell. No big issues and you're good to go. So.
Awesome. So again, what you deal with United Structural Systems is it's upfront, it's honest, and now I can sleep peacefully at night, okay?
I've spent entirely too much time with Jason Fitz over the course of the last 48 hours. We did 4 hours of radio together on July the 4th. Nobody else wanted to work that day, so we said, all right, we'll work. Then we flew to Orlando together to cover an indoor football league game. The Orlando Pirates against the Green Bay Blizzard. And Fitzy, I will admit that I was not super enthused on the front end to do the IFL game. If I'm being completely honest, I was there because, one, I like money. Two, because our agent had suggested that this would be something that would be beneficial for me to try some sideline work or to get some additional work on sidelines. And then subsequently told me that I would be the analyst for the game. And then we did the game, and I was delighted. And it was not just because the game itself was exciting, but I have to give you a tremendous amount of credit. You made that a very enjoyable experience. I have seen how much fun you've been having on a weekly basis doing IFL games. I had not yet gotten to witness it myself. Last night was a joy.
We started this with a compliment. You're leaving out the best part of the story, though. This is the most Buck Rising thing in history, and I think Nashville needs to know this happened. Buck showed up in Orlando, walked in, and just said, "I'm Buck Rising" to the front desk. Like they were going to have a room ready. And I asked, and he's like, hotels, how's this working? I asked him, I'm like, did you respond to the email from the league asking if you needed a hotel? And Buck's like, what email? And then a minute later, he realizes that he missed all, and I mean all of, because there were multiple of the emails. Buck flew all the way to Orlando, just presuming that somebody would have the red carpet, some bonbons, maybe an ice cream Sammy, and the entire situation laid out for one Buck Rising to have the perfect accoutrements and stay that he needed at the hotel. And then when he found out he didn't have a hotel room, what did Buck do? Instead of taking care of the problem right there head on, Buck took his bags to the arena and tried to see if he could get back last night. Like, you, my friend, live on a thin scale, like it's just the tiniest layer of ice. I don't know how you do it. I'm glad it worked out for you, though, thanks to the adult in the room that helped get you the hotel worked out. That's me.
Oh, I thought everything went smoothly this weekend, and it was a great trip, Buck.
It was a great trip. Everything worked out. It's like everything else in my life. Everything always works out. But yes.
Were you not concerned at one point that you were going to be Little Spoon and I was going to be Big Spoon because you didn't have a hotel?
I was never concerned because I would have taken the room and I would have sent you down to the lobby, or I would have found you a cot.
You know what? I'm just nice enough too. I'd have been like, "That's fine, Buck. I'll sleep on the couch." No, it was a blast, man. I thought we had a good time. It was a great broadcast. It was a great game. The IFL games are always great. You can check them out on Yahoo Sports every weekend. There's games throughout the course of the weekend. Sunday night's usually the big one, and they put Buck and I together with our buddy Mike Babchick on that one. It was a blast of a game. Came all the way down to the very end, as almost all of these games are designed to do. So really incredible. If anyone hasn't checked it out, you should. The IFL on Yahoo Sports is a fun time. But Buck, I thought you were very good, and your suit, sir, looked very nice on you.
It's a custom suit. I didn't show you that it says 4 Buck Rising on the inside, but if I wanted, I wanted to, I could have.
The difference between you and I, your suit was a custom suit that says 4 Buck Rising. My suit came off the rack from JCPenney, but it's the brand JF. So I feel like I can tell people that it's custom because it says JF on the inside without, like, I wait till they're like 50% off everything because I'm a little man that can buy off the rack.
Yes, indeed. So as Fitzy mentioned, the IFL is regularly live streamed. You can go check that out on Yahoo Sports. It's the only game that I was scheduled to do, but they were very kind to invite me back, and should the schedule work out with training camp ahead of us, or even next season, I would be delighted to come back and do a game. We had a great time yesterday. Fitzy, Robert and I were just having the discussion that you and I were having in some proximity to about Fox's projection for the World Cup should the U.S. men's national team final be in it. And your contention was you were surprised that the biggest sporting event theoretically in this country's history would only rival numerically an AFC or NFC championship game. Does it change your opinion at all that those two games were played in primetime and that the U.S. men's national team final, if they were to appear in the final, the World Cup final will be played in the afternoon, not in primetime? That might affect the figure there.
I mean, it could marginally affect it, but no, I think the biggest surprise is that That's what Fox projects, and Fox projects it to be a massive win. In fact, I was just on my production call for Yahoo Sports Daily, and one of our producers mentioned the fact that 30 million people watched the last game. Now, that's a combined number between the U.S. audience and Telemundo, I believe, but 30 million people watched the combined game, and my entire show staff went, oh, my God, 30 million people, at which point I reminded them what you and I looked up. That would put that around the fourth highest rated NFL regular season game last year. Let's remember that the Thanksgiving Day game between the then bad Chiefs and the Broncos drew 53 million people. I know that that's Thanksgiving Day, but I think we're stuck in this moment right now where, because we've all we're feeling a national phenomenon like I don't remember feeling in sports in this country, which is beautiful, but let's not get it twisted. It's a reminder how popular the NFL is.
Well, it would still be a massive win. And to your point, nobody is saying that soccer is all of a sudden going to usurp American football as the most popular sport in this country. But it would still be a tremendous win, because a friend had texted me during that segment and asking, and he may have known the answer to this question already, but was asking, okay, so what did the Team USA Olympic gold medal hockey win over Canada average? And I sent him actually incorrectly the wrong number. I saw a different number initially, but it averaged 26 million viewers on NBC and Peacock. Was the U.S. the U.S. gold medal game, the men's gold medal game against Canada, 2-1 overtime victory. The other game that was cited as an example for comparison was the U.S. the U.S. Team USA in the Olympics, the basketball team, Steph Curry, LeBron James, and the rest of them. The men's basketball final averaged 19.5 million viewers. So hockey actually beat basketball. It was the most watched gold medal game since 1996. The World Cup would dwarf both of those with 50 million and would put it on par with the National Football League. I think even competing with the National Football League is a shot across football's bow, no?
It's not. No, it's incredible. It's great. But like, what are we doing here for? Yes, if you want to compare yourself to the gold medal games in past, I understand it. But what was the longevity to that and the actual impact? The Stanley Cup final just averaged, if off the top of my head, I think the number was 5.4 million viewers, which was a huge number for the Stanley Cup final. I'm a hockey guy. You know that. I love hockey. 5.4 million viewers would be a bad college football broadcast for the Stanley Cup final. The NBA, for every person that, every time I open up social media, people tell me the NBA is broken because the numbers. The NBA just did really great numbers in their NBA finals with the Knicks. But part of this conversation is about what it means sustainably. Look, this could, I think you were the one that said it. If USMNT were to win this tournament, it would be the greatest, I believe I'm saying what you said correctly, it would be the greatest moment in American sports history.
Bar none.
So you're telling me bar none, the greatest American moment and the greatest moment in American sports history equals the AFC Championship game on any given year?
Well, no, I'm not telling you it equals that. I'm not telling you it equals that. I'm telling you the significance. The ratings would be equal to that. But the significance of that win would be the biggest accomplishment that a United States athletic team has ever had. Not even close.
I agree with that. I think it's Miracle on Ice level. I think they don't even have to get to the final for it to be Miracle on Ice level. If they win this matchup, I think they can win this matchup. They're going to be favored. If they start beating the Frances of the world, it's Miracle on Ice level. There is no doubt about it. I agree with what everybody's saying. I'm just saying calm down when we make it's a memory that we'll all have for the rest of our lives. Already, I would argue in 20 or 30 years, we're going to be talking about the World Cup and what it meant to be on our soil in this particular USMNT. Joe Pompliano is already reporting that 2038, it looks like America is going to be, the Americas are going to be a front runner to host again. The lasting impact on this is very real. I just think when we turn around, for perspective, the fact that the lasting impact for the single greatest moment in American national sports history would be the television equivalent of a regular AFC NFC championship game weekend it's less about anything other than a statement to how popular the NFL is. We take for granted that the NFL is going to get those types of ratings every single year. It's why they always say the NFL is king. The NFL is king. And for anyone that's like, oh, this is the beginning of soccer scaring the NFL. Nothing scares the NFL. How long is it going to catch? Do we believe that the MLS now is going to start pulling TV ratings, even if ratings are up like we've seen in the NHL? It's nowhere equivalent to what just a meh next college football game is, or a Jets-Browns game in week 17 that nobody cares about is going to get more ratings than most of these games that we're talking about. We are in American football crazy society. It's just an incredible moment. I'm not taking anything away from it. I'm just saying put some respect on the NFL's name in this process.
No, nobody is disrespecting the NFL. But if I give you this, because we're talking about that number solely being on Fox and Fox-owned properties, right? So that's Fox, where you and I are employees of. For Fox Sports Radio, that's Fox One, the app where you have had live streamed coverage, of course, and then Tubi has also had. I don't know if they're only airing replays, if they've had actual games broadcast on Tubi. I'm not familiar with the platform, other than I know Cam Ward had a documentary or something like that was on Tubi. I don't know how many people actually watch that. But if I present to you, Fitzy, that there is a significant portion of the American population that is consuming this not on Fox, they're watching it on Telemundo. Because I'm looking at census.gov, okay? I'm looking at a United States government website right now to cite these statistics. And they are saying that the non-Hispanic white population in this country is shrinking, while Hispanic and Asian populations are growing the most rapidly. So if I'm assuming that census.gov is an accurate representation, that the Hispanic population accounted for just under 71% of overall growth in the United States in 2022 and 2023, could it not be simply that Fox is taking into account the English-speaking portion of America, and in reality, the demographics are much, much different, and this will be a huge phenomenon in the United States because you and I are thinking through a certain prism versus what the rest of the population in this country, which is trending towards the majority, is actually looking at this at.
From my understanding, because Mulvihill, who does analytics for Fox and insights for Fox, every time game ratings come out, he tweets the same thing. Basically, wait till you see what the combined number is between Fox, and he abbreviates it to TEL.
Okay.
My understanding is when he said 50 million, he's including the audience expected from Telemundo. So everything you're saying is 1,000% accurate. I guess I look at all of that and say, okay, if we want to just put an exclamation point on it, this is the difference in how we cover sports so often. If we want to say this is going to be one of the single greatest moments in America, maybe the greatest moment in American national sports history, and the ratings on this are going to be through the roof, exclamation, end statement, I agree with everything that you're saying. If we're going to turn around and say, oh my God, this is the indication of massive change, or if this is the indication that something is happening, like if this is anything other than just a cultural moment in time, I don't know that we have a lot of proof of concept for that. I don't believe that we'll be sitting here in 3, 4, 5 years and suddenly on any given normal day leading shows like Get Up or First Take with MLS highlights or with EPL highlights. Like, I think that there is a cap to what this means for all of us. It means that much like the Olympics, every 4 years we care about figure skating and Michael Phelps every 4 years. But the 3.5 years in between that, nobody gives a damn about any of it. And then they have to come in and tell us all the stories every year. NBC does a great job of it for 2 months, reminding us why we care. In 4 years, they're going to have to tell us all the stories to remind us why we care about the World Cup. Like, if this is a wow, what a moment. Now, let's go back to our regular lives. I agree with that. If this is wow, a moment, and look at what this sustainability means for the future of soccer in America and the way we cover it and the passion for the sport and all these things, I don't know. Maybe in 20 years, the NFL has a problem, but in 20 years, you and I will be way too old to give a damn.
Well,
mostly me.
You'll be old.
I'll be dead. I mean, the way I'm going 20 years from now, I'll either be grouchy or dead.
Well, on that morbid note, you did share some personal news with your audience on social media over the weekend, and I think your message was particularly important. I know you're being tongue in cheek about keeling over and dying, but I mean you have a pretty scary situation that's popped up in your life here the last couple of months. That I think and it comes with an important message about making sure that you are checking in regularly on your health.
Yeah, and look, I didn't share it because I want sympathy or any of those things. I appreciate all the well wishers. I shared it because I think everybody needs to hear numbers. I'm in the best shape of my life, or was a month ago when I got all this info. I've worked really hard for the last 2 years, eating clean, taking care of myself. Jeff Black has done a great job, Nashville guy, training me and changing my life. But when I hired Jeff, the first thing he made me do was get comprehensive blood work panels, and we got everything done. And I hope everybody listening Write this down. Go get your lipoprotein scores checked and your coronary calcium scores. Again, lipoprotein, coronary calcium. If you can't remember that, remember two easy things: protein, calcium. Ask your doctor, because all of my blood work was spectacular except for those two numbers, and they were through the roof. I don't remember my lipo. One of them was in the mid 300s. They were both triple what they're allowed to be. Absolutely epic numbers. I started going to doctors to try and get answers. No doctor could give me a good answer other than you're asymptomatic. You have no issues. You're working out like a maniac. I'm sure you're fine. I just kept asking and pressing for more details. Finally was able to get a cardiologist to give me a contrast score where they put the IV. They give you an IV with iodine in it to see the blockages. And then I got a call while I was standing on the field in Jacksonville, ready to call an IFL game, saying, stop doing what you're doing. You have 3 massive blockages in your heart. So I am scheduled on July 20th for a double bypass. They're going to replace 2 of the arteries in my heart. I'm going to be sawed open. It's a scary thing. It's not a comfortable thing. 12 weeks of rehab coming afterwards. But the workouts should have killed me, and they saved my life all at the same time. My heart's never been healthier. It's a genetic issue, but I would just beg everybody, go talk to your doctor. Lipoprotein, coronary calcium scores, they mean something. It told my doctors that it was genetic, and it told my doctors that no matter what, we tried to do a stent. We got all the way to the end of the stenting process, and it was like, nope, I think you should see a surgeon. So July 20th, they will cut me open, and I will start this process. I'm going to do it really transparently, because I think, especially men, as you get older, you're afraid of information, you're afraid of data, you're afraid of numbers. Don't be. It's going to save my life. So I don't look at this as a curse. I look at it as a blessing that I found out. I'm going to be fine. And I'm going to chronicle the whole thing on social media so that people can see what it's like, and so they stop being scared of the numbers. And I would beg everybody, while you're getting in shape, first off, get in shape. But while you're getting in shape, even if you're not in shape, go to your doctor, get blood work done, ask questions, fight for yourself. Don't take maybe as an answer. Fight for yourself until you get the real answers that you need. I think it saved my life, and I got a long road ahead, but it's a road I'm ready for.
Well, we are. It's a good message and an important message that Fitzy has shared and will continue to share as he goes through that process. And obviously, we're wishing the best for you and your health at this point in time. Fitzy also an incredibly generous person, and he knows that we are doing our charity bowling event that's coming up on July the 16th. It's the Split Happens Bowling Bash. It's next Thursday, as a matter of fact, at Eastside Bowl. It's going to help us raise some money for Home Street Home, and Fitzy has generously volunteered to donate a team to the bowling event, of which we are incredibly grateful for you. So not only are you carrying me through IFL broadcasts and making sure that I have somewhere to sleep at night because I'm too lazy to check my own email, and making sure that men's health awareness is top of mind because you almost keeled over and died. Thank God that you didn't. But you are out here doing charitable work as well. We do not deserve Jason Fitz.
I'll Venmo you for the team. You figure out how to give it away. I hope everybody gets involved in this. I love the fact that you use your microphone for all of the snarkiness that is Puck Rising. Deep down inside, y'all don't realize this. There's a really good dude inside there, which is why I love working with you. It's why I love you as a human being. And it's why I'm going to sponsor a team to do this. And I hope somebody goes, and I hope they trash talk you the entire time. All I ask that you do when you get on this, if you are on the team that I sponsor, I ask one thing of you. I ask that you walk up to Buck at some point during the course of the night and you say, hey, man, is your hair thinning up top? Just ask him. Is your hair thinning up top? That's all I ask. That's all I ask in return for this. Is your hair thinning up top? That's all I ask. As many times as you want to ask it, feel free, just to see the look that you'll get from one Buck Rising.
All right, very good. I'm done with you now.
Thank you. Appreciate you, buddy.
Safe trip back. He's still in Orlando. It just makes me think of going to see Robert I'm blanking on the name of the play that we went to see at TPAC.
Book of Mormon.
Orlando.
Electric. I'm going to go get some sushi in Orlando because you wouldn't do it with me. It's healthy. You should try it.
Yeah. Anywhere there where I cannot see the ocean, I'm not eating fish. That's just a general rule. All right. Very good. That's Jason Fitz.
Love you, Fitzy.
With us.
Love him. Don't love Buck.
All right. Very good. We were doing this television broadcast last night, and we're pre-taping the Open, Robert, to welcome people into the game and all these things. And they were showing us the various camera angles before we were getting ready to tape. And so I saw an angle from the top and behind of my head. And I said, oh, there's not a bald spot, but there's an area where I would consider flying to Turkey for.
Oh, well, it's not Turkey anymore.
Turkey A.
Turkey A.
Turkey A.
You're going to have to get that. You're getting old. You're getting old.
Buddy, I can't. I'm going to spend so much money on me as I get old. I'm going to be Tom Brady.
Does it hurt your feelings to have to look through the glass at what the picture of health is? Knowing that your body is failing you and mine is not even reaching its peak yet. Oh,
well, it's reaching the countertop is what it's reaching.
Let me just brings a whole new meaning to belly up.
Oh, no.
Cheyenne likes my belly.
Yeah, I know, buddy. I know. Yes, you can get tickets to the charity bowling event. It's coming up. I've been out of town. Lucas has been out of town. We have neglected to remind you on a regular basis. But in 10 days from now, okay, we got the Raw Room that's got a team. So that's Jalen Collins, that's King Dunlap, the Raw Room crew going to be in the house. Sounds like Darren Bates is going to be a part of it as well, who's now former Titans linebacker, is now coaching special teams for the Carolina Panthers. So the Raw Room crew's got a team. 3HL's got a team. I haven't talked to Blaine and Zach or the morning show crew, Ramon and Will, about their participation. I know if Ramon and Will can be at events, they like to be at events. Their start time makes it difficult for them. So we hope that they can attend. Of course, everybody from the station is welcome to attend, but we have many people participating. It's a highly competitive event, but most importantly, it is to raise money for a cause that is important to me and important to the community here in Middle Tennessee. That's Stephen Young at Home Street Home. Robert, he was texting me, Stephen was, last week about the silent auction that Home Street Home is going to put on as well, with great concert tickets, many prizes that they will have to offer up for you guys as well to help us raise money. He's 70 years old. He just recently turned 70 years old, Stephen. And he has been out there all last week working in this heat, helping the homeless community at 70 years old. Now, he's got a crew. He's got a team there. He's not doing it by himself, of course, but like the man lives it every day. I have tremendous respect for him and for the work that he does, because that is a segment of the population that it has always been easy to ignore. You pull up to an intersection, you see somebody who has a please help, anything helps type of sign. You chalk it up to drugs or alcoholism or anything, however you want to typecast these people, not actually knowing who these people are, who are fighting any number of battles on that front, some of their own making, more often than not of their own making, and just victims of circumstance. So anything that you guys can help us do, it's why we do the live show with Greg Cosell, Mike Borgonzi lending his time and talents to that this year, the Titans GM. It's why we do the bowling event. It's very important that we find ways to give back to the community for those who are actually doing the work and not sitting here and comfortable in the AC and talking about sports for a living. So anything that we can do to help Stephen. I'm always so grateful for you guys as an audience, the way that you step up and do that. And it's a great night. It's a great night. Bowling, always fun, especially when you get to compete with the kind of people that you'll be up against. Slay always takes it way too seriously. Slay, not that good of a bowler. I expected better of him, if I'm being honest. So if you want to beat Ron Slay at bowling and make fun of my hairline, you could do that. Tickets available at 1045thezone.com. Robert has also dropped the link in the YouTube chat. We will update you on how we are going to give away the team that Jason Fitz has just so kindly donated to us today. Coming up next, we are going to dive into, oh God, I can't get rid of Brandon Ayuk. That story will not go away. Again, of his own making. We'll talk about it coming up next. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. I mentioned the Split Happens Bowling Bash next Thursday, Eastside Bowl. Get your tickets. Link is in the F&M Bank chat. Jason Fitz has generously donated a team of 4. But it's what, Robert, $40 for 3 hours of bowling?
You can't beat that. And when me and Cheyenne go to bowl, just us for the lanes and the shoes, everything is always over $40. So this comes with your shoes, and you get to hang out with us.
And a lot of other friends who are going to participate, and all to benefit Home Street Home, an incredible charity doing work for the unhoused community here in Middle Tennessee. Brandon Ayuk may have just talked his way out of the league, or has been doing so for a period of, I don't know, months at this point. Can I hear the latest Brandon Ayuk Instagram reel post that he just can't stop doing?
Fire gonna text me talking about something. You on my team now. You follow my rules. Boy, I'm a grown-ass man, boy. You gonna have to start running behind your mama, and I might believe what you talking about. But until then,
So he's tagged Jaden Daniels, his former teammate at Arizona State, and, you know, the quarterback of the Washington Commanders, the team that he thinks he's going to play for at some point in time. He's trying to manifest it seems. And he's firing a shot at the quarterback, who is allegedly his friend and former teammate. I don't know how long it's been since those two have been close. But talking about hiding behind his mom, and Jaden Daniels' mom is a very prominent figure in his life. We understand this. But what all Brandon Ayuk had to do here is file some paperwork, essentially pay a speeding ticket, and just not post on Instagram constantly these videos about, going after the 49ers and saying that he told his girlfriend. Did you see the one of the videos where he told his girlfriend to take a lap around the block because he's scared of this big white man that's going to show up at his house, which is John Lynch? He's afraid that John Lynch is going to commit some act of physical violence against him, which honestly, if I'm John Lynch, I might think about at this point.
Yeah, I'd be terrified of John Lynch too. I would not want
Yeah, but you're not a professional athlete. You're so scared you're gonna call Cheyenne and be like, hey, baby, this safety from, the early 90s.
I make her check when there's a noise at night if you don't think I'm having her answer the door for John Lynch.
So anyway, Brandon Ayuk is now firing shots, metaphorically speaking, at the quarterback that he allegedly wants to play for. And he's posting pictures of himself holding Commanders cleats and keeps messaging that he's going to end up on the Commanders. And I mean, what's more likely here? If we were still doing polls, I would do polls to the effect of what's more likely, Brandon Ayuk playing football for anybody in 2026 or Brandon Ayuk being cast out of the league? I just don't think there's a shot he's back in at this point. We'll continue to talk about it. We'll get back to the U.S. men's national team. Coming up next, I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone.
This is a different court, Blair.
Same result, Slay.
Oh, okay, Blair. See, that's Tyler Tanner. See, Tyler Tanner's in the house now.
Let's see what you got. Jerry's out, Blair.
Blair, come on. Okay, Blair, just come sit down. Come on, Blair, stop. You're going to get hurt. Blair, get off the court. That's enough.
What's the verdict, Blair? The courtroom is where I play ball.
Boy, Durham, injury law. And that ain't got no rules.
The final hour on this Monday begins with a little bit of breaking sports news. As a matter of fact, and I do believe that this is Laser Light Show worthy if we have that at our disposal. Yes, indeed. We do have a little breaking sports news courtesy of The Athletic. It's been a lot of breaking sports news relative to the U.S. men's national team here in the last couple of days. But according to Adam Crafton of The Athletic, he is reporting that FIFA has dismissed Belgium's challenge over the eligibility of Flo Balogun after World Soccer's governing body decided to suspend Balogun's one-game ban ahead of the World Cup round of 16 game with the United States. Too bad, so sad. Ha ha, Belgium. The corruption worked for us, but not for you. Gentry Estes of the Tennessean is hanging out in studio, kind to do so, a soccer fan in his own right. We have been basking in FIFA corruption going our way for a good part of the 3-hour radio show today.
So you're saying FIFA's corrupt? No, get out.
I wasn't sure because Sepp Blatter has spent many, many years trying to convince me and the world that FIFA is not corrupt, and he is now virtue signaling on Twitter that FIFA has done something terrible here in allowing the U.S. to get their leading goal scorer back ahead of the Belgium match tonight. I can't help. What can you do but laugh? What can you do but point and laugh at FIFA?
What a time. What a time. Now, look, anyone watching that game against Bosnia would have had a lot of questions about how that red card came about. So I think you look at this and say, maybe it was the right decision. It's just the way it came about was just sloppy, and it's FIFA gonna FIFA. It's just in this particular instance, it benefited the U.S.
Well, and it's funny because there have been reports, and Robert, we can play the Trump sound here if we could. There have been reports that there was a casual conversation between Gianni Infantino, the president of FIFA, and Donald Trump, the president of the United States, regarding this situation. Nothing described more as a casual conversation than the president of the United States demanding that we right the wrongs, or that FIFA right the wrongs, the injustices leveled by this official. I can't ever play Trump sound or hear Trump sound without giggling a little bit. And this is the president of the United States earlier today when asked about the phone call.
Can you describe your phone call with Gianni Infantino about the red card and Belgium is appealing the decision? What's your reaction?
You're asking me about the whole soccer thing? So, yeah, I did. I spoke to Gianni, who's highly respected, who's produced the most successful World Cup in history by, they say, 4 times. This isn't just a success. I actually said, Gianni, we've got all these games. Each one is turning out to be a Super Bowl. And we have all these games. You know, when you think of it, every game is like a Super Bowl. Yes, I watched last night. What a game that was with Mexico and England. I mean, 2 countries, I don't know the players, although I think Kane is a great player. See, I played golf with him, and I like him a lot. He's a good golfer, too. But he's really great. But I watched, and no reason for me to watch, and you couldn't take your eyes off the game. Because I said, Johnny, you know, you have all these games, because they added games, in a country where really it's not our main sport, to put it mildly. And this has been 4 times more successful. He told me last night the numbers are 4 times greater. They think 50 or 60 million people are going to be watching the game tonight. I mean, you know, this is getting to be Super Bowl numbers. But you have a game tonight, and they think they're projecting a minimum of 50 million people watching a game. We call it soccer. It's called football, I guess, but we can't really call it football because it gets there's a little confusion. So, yeah, you call it soccer. We're the only ones that do that, but we have football. And football's great. But I've never seen anything like it. So I saw the play, and I'm a person that loves sports and was a good athlete. And I understand sports really well, really well. And that wasn't a foul. That wasn't even an infraction. That was 2 guys running full speed that happened to crash into each other. You can't take your foot and properly place it on somebody else's foot when you're going, no, these were 2 great athletes that got tangled up. And this referee, who is a little bit suspect. If you check his past, I don't want to say that because I don't like to create controversy, but very suspect. If you'd like, I'll provide you with the past.
I don't like to create controversy, but if you want the dirt, I got you on this rep. So that's Donald Trump. Earlier today, when asked about the phone call with Johnny, don't call him Gianni, Infantino.
Well, hey, before we get to this, a clip that got knocked out of the 6-minute statement that I think could have surmised the entire situation pretty perfectly, if I could slide this in here. Oh, yeah, just mute Twitter. That's a great idea by me. Here we go. And this is Trump talking about the situation.
No matter what happened, you have to let them use their best players. And the game tonight's going to be amazing, and we're going to have a full team, and Belgium's going to have a full team. And you know what? If they beat us, then they can be really proud. The other way, if they beat us, we'll say it was rigged, just like the election was rigged in 2020. But I won't get into that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
There's a lot there. But him just getting to, make it a 2020 false claim about the election rigging thing, always chef's kiss. That's Donnie Trump. So the way that you described it, Gentry, is sloppy. The way that this has played out to our benefit. Do you agree in principle with the people who are saying that this is wrong, what FIFA has done here? Let's start there.
It's not unprecedented.
Okay, but does that make it right?
I feel as though if you're going to have a rule in your tournament that says if you get a red card, you're going to have to miss the next game, you should make the player miss the next game.
Yeah.
That, to me, is just kind of how it should work. It's a bad precedent to set. But we're talking about precedent.
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo had a suspension. He was able to play in this tournament. There seem to be different rules for different situations. FIFA has a long history of just kind of making this up as they go along. This is part of that. But what you're going to see now, whether the U.S. wins or loses tonight, you're going to see another team get a player red carded. It happened to England last night. They're going to now come and appeal this and say, well, wait a minute, can I get this deferred a year or suspended or whatever? And then what do you base that on to say yes or no? Because this was very dodgy how it came about. You don't really – I think you say most Americans disagreed with the idea of it being a red card, but it was a red card. And once that happens, you need to come back and say, here is why that was BS. Here's why we need to overturn that, and they didn't really do that.
Because everything that I read, all the comments that reporters who were there covering the match got was that once a red turn has been handed out – that this is not something that's able to be overturned, and it's not reviewable necessarily, that the infraction and the red card, the suspension and the red card are not things that are overturned. You cited the Ronaldo example. That's the example that comes up more often or most often what I've seen. And listen, it's an easy thing for me to say, well, I don't care about it. It's sports. Like, what do I care if FIFA makes up the rules as they go and this is to our benefit? If it was a ruling against us in a situation, if we were on the other, if we were in Belgium's shoes, we would be pissed. I'm sure the vast majority of us would be pissed. I think it's because, and not like this country has, there are educated, smart, passionate soccer fans in the United States of America. Nobody would dispute this. But the vast majority of us are casuals, I would say. And that it was identified to us, casuals, myself included, as this is not red card worthy. Okay, once I've identified that in my head, it's like, okay, what's the appeal process? What does that look like? What's the review? They go to the review. They use stills to make the determination, still images to make the determination. Apparently, they're not allowed to do that. I didn't know that before this. So I'm kind of learning as we go, but I'm not actually sure if I'm learning anything other than FIFA made a call, and it may not make the same call next time.
Had the U.S. lost that game to Bosnia after going down a man with like half an hour to go or whatever it was, I was prepared to write a column where the headline was going to be, this is why Americans don't like soccer.
Yeah.
That would have been the perfect example of that because by the letter of the law, no, you're not allowed to step on someone's foot and hurt their ankle. And you could see on replay why the motion that Balogun was carded for wasn't what they want in the sport, but it was incidental. He didn't mean to do it. Now, I've always believed, with this particular sport, that if you're going to red card someone, it needs to be deliberate. It needs to be something that was designed to hurt someone or, like the game last night, the Mexico-England game last night, that tackle that the guy was red carded for, he had his studs up. He had his foot up. He knows not to do that. You could make a case that was deliberate.
Yeah.
But at Balogun's, I agree with Trump. It was just two guys going for the ball, and he just happened to have that happen. And I think most people could conclude that in seeing it, and I think that's what Americans, had the U.S. lost that, it would have been an incredible outcry of, well, gosh, this sport, and it was nice to avoid that, at least, now we just complain about corruption.
Well, it's one of those things where I watched this game. Robert was listening to the game on the radio, was texting us passionately because apparently they're just simulcasting the television broadcast on radio broadcast, and that's not very good.
I've noticed that as well. Yeah.
Surprised by that. Anyway, and I'm watching this game, and it seemed to me overtly physical on the side of Bosnia. Now, I obviously have bias here. I have a rooting interest in the American side, but I was not having a full understanding of what draws a red card versus what's a yellow card and things of that nature, like very, very remedial level soccer knowledge here. I'm watching this and thinking, like, no, they're getting pretty chippy out there altogether. And so that seemed an odd place to me to drop a red card in, understanding that the level of infraction did not what was happening in the rest of the game where guys were being pulled down by their shirts and things of that nature does not rise to the level of what draws an actual red card. But it, to me, looked like a very physical match that they were just letting go. So I was surprised that was the moment that they chose.
And not only that, Balogun was not called for a foul in real time.
Right.
It wasn't even no card, whatever, no foul. That was not even a called foul. And then you look back at VAR and the whole process. And look, VAR has been a mess this whole World Cup. There have been several monumental goals that were called back for teams on VAR because you had a toenail over the line. I mean, they do need to do some work on VAR. I feel like for the most part that has been an improvement in this sport, but it's almost like you're using VAR to hunt for things that either weren't called right away or weren't obvious right away. And whereas I feel like VAR should probably be more checking a call that was already made. And then the Balogun thing, again, I think you're hunting for something as opposed to confirming what was already called.
As far as, so we're moving forward, obviously, Belgium's appeal of the overturned red card and suspension has been denied. If you're just now joining us, Gentry Estes of the Tennessean is in studio. We're talking some football. Maybe we'll get to some football later on in the show. So how much does Balogun impact the competitive balance here? Because my whole contention, and again, doing this in ignorance, I went on the national show on Saturday and said, well, if Balogun's out, Pulisic needs to step up. Everybody else's star is playing at the highest possible level. I mean, what Haaland did against Brazil yesterday was just vicious. Mbappe has been excellent. Messi has 7 goals as well. You saw Harry Kane not scoring yesterday. I can't remember the name of the player that had the 2 goals within
Bellingham.
2 minutes. Not Balogun. For England?
Bellingham.
Okay. Bellingham. So England, and Harry Kane's obviously been very prominent, helping England continue to advance. We have not seen Pulisic, who has been marketed as our biggest soccer star, be that level of impact. So my mind immediately goes to, okay, next man up, right? And I don't know how applicable that is to this particular sport or team. Well,
the context to this is the U.S. has always struggled to have that goal-scoring striker up front, the number 9 position. You go back years. Josie Altidore was probably him and Clint Dempsey were as good as we've ever had at that spot. But it's been a point of contention. This current generation, talented as 1 through 11, we're as talented as we've ever been. And it's because of players like Pulisic, but some others, Tyler Adams, a number of other players. But we still lacked that goal-scoring number 9. And they tried to find that guy the last few years, and you've kind of had some tryouts that didn't work out. Balogun choosing to play for the United States was an enormous deal for that team because it did finally give the U.S. that striker that other teams were truly had to worry about. The Harry Kane, the guy who the Holland and Norway, a guy who can change a game. Pulisic is a little different because he's in the Landon Donovan role as the playmaker, the point guard. He's the number 10, so he kind of has his hand in a lot of different aspects of it. Now he's building the attack, but you don't necessarily ask your 10 to be a goal scorer. He can be, but you want that number 9 to be the presence in the box that you send crosses and he can get the ball in the net with his head, things like that. And I think Pulisic would have stepped up. In terms of this game, I think this is a winnable game for the U.S., but I would have thought it was a winnable game even without Balogun.
Okay.
There would have been a couple of strikers that would have had a chance to come into the lineup without dramatically changing what we want to do. Haji Wright would have been one. Ricardo Pepi would have been another. And either of them could have come in and scored a goal or two. Like, it's their job to come in. They are not as athletically gifted as Balogun seems to be, young as he is. He has had a really good World Cup, and his presence has been a factor for the U.S. And I can't remember very many instances other than maybe Clint Dempsey in 2014 where that position made the kind of impact for the U.S. that he has seemed to make in this World Cup. So you didn't want to take him off the field because he's in form right now. So that's where that would have mattered, but I don't necessarily think we automatically lose this game without him. It's not like basketball where one guy can make that much of a difference to me.
Sure, I think that's the way that at least for me, I had overly simplified it without fully understanding the positions and the different responsibilities. You bring up Clint Dempsey, Landon Donovan. Tim Howard, obviously a part of that generation of U.S. men's national teams. When you look at the talent that we have in this World Cup and seeing the level that we've advanced to, understanding that we did not play the fiercest of competition to date, and Belgium is an older team, though they've gotten our number. I bring up Tim Howard. This is a revenge opportunity without him necessarily on the roster. How would you compare this current iteration of the U.S. men's national team to the best versions of it that we have seen in our lifetimes?
I think this is the realization of a lot of potential that's kind of been there the last few years. This is our best generation. We've had a lot of – in 22, this team wasn't quite ready to be what it is right now. There's a lot of younger players, Weston McKennie, guys who came up through the club system in Europe, which is something that we had not had a lot of players in the past previously do. Europe is kind of keyed in now to the fact that, hey, 14, 15, 16-year-olds in this country are worth scouting, and we'll bring them over, and they'll come up playing for Juventus, like McKinney, or AC Milan, or the EPL teams, or things like that. We have a lot more talent that's respected globally now than we've ever had before, but it was young. In 21, 22, it was still a little too green, and you hoped that it would kind of grow into what we're seeing now, but it took a minute. In the build-up to this World Cup, the U.S. was not playing that well. And I think Pochettino has done a phenomenal job of getting a team ready for the playoffs.
I would die for that man.
When they came out against Paraguay, and the offensive attack that they showed right away was almost like, who is this team? I've never seen the U.S. play that way. I've never seen the U.S. have the ability to play that way. And this is when people, it's kind of a bigger point, Bug, but when people talk about like, oh, is this soccer's great awakening in this country? I think that's already happened, and I think that's evident by the players that you're seeing on the field right now. This is by far the best players we've ever had. Now, up until this World Cup started, I wouldn't say it was the best team because I still think all those MLS-heavy teams from the past that, played these, bare-knuckle CONCACAF fights for years, I think they would have been tougher, but I think this team has kind of shown its toughness. I think that was a big part of the Bosnia game. I think in the past, in that kind of moment, I think the U.S. national team would have maybe, I'm not going to say folded, but they would have had trouble shutting the door in a situation like that. The U.S. not only did that, but they scored a goal doing it. I think this is a lot physically and mentally tougher than what we've been for maybe the last 10 years or so. And on the flip side, I think Belgium is not as good as they were in 2014. Kind of their golden generation has already kind of aged out a little bit. So when you look, I mean, we did take them to extra time in this exact same round 12 years ago with a team that's not nearly as good as what we have, and a team for them that I think was a lot better back then. So you look at this, I think the U.S. should win this game. I would have thought the U.S. should win this game even without Balogun, and you get him back now. I understand all the distractions and the storylines, but, I mean, he's an awfully good player, and you'd rather have him on the field than not.
I'm excited. It's going to be an incredible atmosphere at Geodis Park tonight. I know they're having another watch party out there on the plaza. I think the weather's going to be a little more manageable, at least from a heat standpoint, than it has been the last couple of outings, though there have been thousands of people out there hanging out and taking in these games, and obviously in bars and restaurants across the country, watch parties across the country. It's been really, really cool to see. That's the other thing about, like you mentioned, a great soccer awakening. It feels like that's just a trope that we use to talk about, okay, is it going to overtake football? It's not going to overtake American football in this country. We understand that. But the level of education rises, it seems, every time and for years the women have really been carrying us as a soccer country. That's been my biggest level of engagement with the national teams. It's been the women's team, because they have been significantly better. They're significantly more accomplished. They have won multiple World Cups over. I'd be curious to see what that looks like in the modern age. I haven't paid nearly as close enough attention. I know they're getting ready for their World Cup here in the next couple of years. But just been so much fun. I think the World Cup, Gentry, is my favorite sporting event. I would agree with that. I'm a big Ryder Cup golf guy. That to me, for similar reasons. But I feel as though, but no, the trope of has soccer arrived in this. Look, that was a fair thing to say when we hosted it in 1994. Because there was no MLS, there was, at the time the U.S. was hardly thought of in international soccer. But now I feel as though the U.S. is, they've made it out of the group stage several times here since, and in fact, people are going, if they win tonight, you're going to hear a lot of people say, oh, it's the greatest win. We were in a quarterfinal in 2002. Yeah. The Donovan DeMarcus Beasley team made it in 2002 and really gave Germany a very good game. We've made a quarterfinal before. This isn't something the U.S. hasn't done before. So I don't think globally it's really that shocking. But it is fun to see. You made a point earlier about it would be the biggest sports moment in our country's history if we were to win this. And I would probably agree with that, because if you look at right now, no, it's not going to overtake football and basketball and those sports. Doesn't have to. But if you were to say, what is our biggest sporting moment collectively as a country, it's probably the Miracle on Ice. Yeah. And that's hockey. That's not something that... And not a gold medal match. No. But it had a unique aspect of playing the Soviets, but that game was also in the United States. Yeah. And I think that's the difference. There's two important differences in this World Cup. The tournament's being held here, and the U.S. is actually good. And I think those two things are what's leading to what's considered kind of this awakening when I actually got it. I don't see it overtaking other sports. I don't see it lifting Major League Soccer to places that it's never been before. I just feel like it's like an Olympics. We're going to get behind the U.S. team as it wins. Yeah, it's a goalpost moving argument to me, to the people that are trying to have that debate when it's really just about the moment, in my mind anyway. Your most recent column at the Tennessean, Tennessean.com, is where you can read all the work that Gentry and his colleagues, Nick Suss. You can also read a lot of the work that Adam Sparks does at the Knoxville News Sentinel, Tennessean.com. You wrote a column about it not being too early for concern around Cam Ward, and I wonder why. We're all obligated to cover the local professional football team in town. They have a number one overall pick at quarterback. There's going to be a lot of scrutiny. They have not done a lot to garner attention other than Jeffrey Simmons being excellent, and I was all pissy and miserable today about Jeff being voted the 83rd best player in the National Football League by other players. Offensive. Why was this the column that you wanted to write, and what was your logic behind the timeline for concern for Cam Ward? Because that's obviously been a big talking point this summer.
Well, I think it's just you're going into his second year. And granted, I don't want to fall into the trap of reading way too much into these OTAs that we were out there watching. And I don't view that as anything more than what it is, which is a practice, and you don't know what he's trying to work on. You don't know what play. There's so many things we don't know when we're watching this. But he wasn't accurate, Buck. I mean, like for a number of practices, he was completing probably about half his throws. You look at the numbers last season, he was completing about half his throws, and it's not good enough. He's going to have to play at a higher level this season. I'm not going to sit here and say that he won't or that he can't. I think so much of what the Titans want to believe about themselves moving forward has to do with this guy. And we've yet to see any real proof of that on the field. Not to say it can't happen, but last year they were bad for so many reasons that I think it made for an excuse for Cam Ward, and probably rightfully so. I mean, he had no help and like everything else that was wrong with that team.
Yeah.
But it wasn't an effective excuse for Will Levis the year before. And you would like to see some more growth from your number one overall pick than maybe what we've seen this summer. You get out in training camp, and if he's throwing a bunch of picks, and all of a sudden this is what you're going to be talking about, this is what everybody's going to be talking about, and it only is going to add to the pressure that I feel like I don't think it's a reach to say that the franchise future hinges on this guy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, Jeff Simmons' future hinges on this guy. If this doesn't work out around Cam this year, you have to Myles Garrett Jeff. Like there are huge implications from this beyond just Jeff Simmons. And the thing that I liked, and we can wrap it up on this, the point that you made in the column was too soon to panic, but not too early to be concerned. And I feel that we conflate those two things, panic and concern. I am concerned that Cam Ward is not the most crisp practice player. I am not panicked that Cam Ward is a bust at the number one overall pick after a handful of OTAs. I think that the audience sometimes has trouble discerning it. I think there are bad actors who would play in to the not differentiating between legitimate concern and panic, because those things are very, very not similar to me.
I mean, if we're going to panic, my first thought when I saw some of these throws was that his shoulder was still hurt or was still bothering him. I mean, some of this, it really made you wonder. Now, he said it wasn't. He hasn't missed any time that I'm aware of.
Sure.
So.
He also said that they were going to be a top 5 receiving core last year.
So
you know,
I mean, who knows? Yeah.
Sweet angel. I appreciate that.
right.
Yeah, come on.
But I think the point being, there will be no more excuses, or not nearly as many excuses for him this season. You have Brian Dable, you have Carnell Tate, you have, I mean, maybe the O-line still stinks. That could still be an excuse. But
I'm confident in saying it's going to stink other than Peter.
But at some point, you need your number one overall pick to look like a number one overall pick. He didn't last season.
Gentry, I appreciate your time, buddy. It was good talk.
Yep, enjoyed it.
Always enjoy having Gentry Estes. You can follow him on social media. You can read him at Tennessean.com. We will piggyback off that conversation coming up next. All right. Wrapping up. Oh, well, I guess we're not wrapping up. We got one more segment here, and I've just botched every commercial break so far today. I like when Lucas is not here. I can do what I want. It's delightful. Makes me very happy. No, we do enjoy having Lucas here, especially during the World Cup, because Robert, what I was saying to Gentry during the commercial break was we have had so little reason on the show since the show started, basically, because the show started the year that they had that Bengals playoff game, the year they traded A.J. Brown, and the year they pooped themselves against the Cincinnati Bengals was the year the radio show started. So basically every year since then has been sports misery, other than Tennessee baseball winning a national championship and me grifting off Indiana. Like, we have had very little sports joy around here.
I don't want to make this about me, but my buddies think that I am the bad luck because my first week on the job was the week after the draft where they traded AJ to Philly. After I got here, the Preds have never been good, and all of my buddies think that I'm like bad luck Chuck. So I apologize to all the Nashvillians out there.
Oh, my God. So, but my point was that I have enjoyed Lucas during the World Cup because, like, he's genuinely excited about it. I'm genuinely excited about it. You seem to be genuinely excited about it. I don't think there's been anything. It's sure as hell not a football season here lately. I mean, unless the Ravens have done something of consequence, but obviously your football season was not filled with joy this past season. The Vols didn't do anything. And I mean, we're happy for Vandy, but Vandy doesn't really do it for us the way that any of our respective teams were. Even Indiana winning a national championship, like, that's not. It's fun. I'm excited about it. I'm rooting for Fernando Mendoza as a Raiders quarterback. I'm actually following along with, like, Indiana offseason stuff and recruiting and transfer portal and all these different things. But, like, that's a new thing for me. Like, we have not had something that the three of us collectively can enjoy. And so that's what I've appreciated about this World Cup. Now, to get on something that Gentry Estes said, or to put a bow on that conversation, it is too often I have gotten into a situation with Titans quarterbacks where I'm starting to make excuses for them instead of just cutting bait. I did it with Mariota. I did it with Tannehill, even though Tannehill is the best quarterback that they've had since McNair. And that's okay. Like, I think Tannehill had bought himself enough runway, and then the Bengals game happened the way that it did. We don't have to relitigate these things. With Cam, unfortunately for Cam, my approach is going to be different, which is, okay, you've had the excuse year. The excuse year is done. I'm not going to make excuses for you anymore. And they have significantly upgraded their roster around him. It's not a playoff team, as far as I can tell. We'll see. That's why they play the games. But I am not going to, in the way that I aired with Mariota and Tannehill, I'm not going to do the same thing with Cam. So this year is a no excuses season for Cam Ward to me. And I think Gentry's point is a valid one for the most part, where he said, well, Will Levis did not get the benefit of the excuse making for all the things that were wrong with the Titans in 24 that were still wrong with the Titans in 25. And I think Will Levis, one, was a hated figure when he arrived here through no fault of his own, and then was a hated figure here after through faults of his own because of his play on the field. But also, it's a fair point. While Will Levis is the bigger disaster class at any given point, he did not benefit from the excuse-making that Cam Ward did. He did not get that grace. He did not deserve that grace in the same way, but I think he deserved a little more of it. I'm not saying that Will Levis is as good as Cam Ward, or that Cam Ward was as bad as Will Levis. Like, I'm not trying to get into one of those conversations. I'm just saying that at a certain point, especially for the number one overall pick, your job is to perform. And if you do not do that this year, then no excuses. All right. We'll wrap up the show coming up next. We have another World Cup date to get to as we put a bow on the show. Lucas is going to send us with some level of frequency. I don't think are we asking for these things daily? That feels kind of wrong to do to him on vacation. Even though he has been sending the most active he has been ever in the history of this show has been these last 2 months.
Did you ask for these?
The World Cup dates?
No, I mean I didn't ask him for anything. He just kind of sent these, which I appreciate.
I thought I maybe made like a joke about it, and he was just like, okay, I'll do it.
I think he realizes how stranded and marooned we would be without him on these subjects.
We've been fine. Get the hell out of here. We did a good show today. We did a good soccer show today.
I started the show off by getting America's best player in the entire tournament's name wrong.
Yeah, you butchered it. That's okay. So's the rest of the country. USA. Yeah, okay, come on.
I'm with you.
We're fine. Yeah. All right, so this next World Cup date, we've already had one from him. Good to see a visual on him and that Megan was supervising him by the pool because he would have tried to drown himself if not after the Brazil loss. It wasn't even a loss. He just kind of got smacked around there by Norway. So he sent us his Brazil eulogy. This is previewing the U.S. men's national team against Belgium tonight.
I believe so, yes. I think he recorded these last night. At least that's when he sent them to me. So I don't know if they have up-to-date information about Balogun's suspension being revoked, but we have it nonetheless.
All right, I am coming to you from the south of Brazil on a Brazilian game day, thus the jersey. So by the time you guys hear this will either be a country in mourning or the vibes will still be good, depending on what happens today against Norway. So we'll see about that. The Balogun news is absolutely insane. Never in my life at a major competition, let alone a World Cup, have I seen a red card ban overturned, no matter how horrendous the call for the red card. And it was an incredibly harsh call on Fuller and Balogun. So that's number one. U.S. Soccer has arrived with FIFA out here finding loopholes in different ways to get the U.S.'s full-strength lineup on the field for what potentially will be the biggest moment in American soccer history on the men's side. And if the U.S. beats Belgium in this game, that's exactly what it'll be. Now, we've been to a quarterfinal before. We did it back in 2002, beating Mexico in the round of 16. But obviously, this is different. The eyes of the nation are on this World Cup like never before. This is obviously the moment that we've been building to for almost a decade. So, yes, this could be the biggest step in this program's history. And we're going to have Fuller and Balogun on the field to try and do it. Now, on paper, Belgium is a more talented squad than the United States. Player by player, I mean, starting in goal. Thibaut Courtois has been one of the best goalkeepers in the world for the entirety of his career. You look at world-class players and the careers that they've had, like Kevin De Bruyne in midfield, like Romelu Lukaku up top, like Jeremy Doku on the wing. Now, with that said, Belgium has not looked like the best version of itself in this tournament. The United States absolutely has. In fact, in that game against Senegal, that insane comeback win by Belgium in extra time, they looked like the best version of themselves after Kevin De Bruyne and Jeremy Doku were taken off the field. But I expect those two still to start. De Bruyne as a deep-lying playmaker is still world-class. Jeremy Doku is one of the absolute best 1v1 dribblers on the planet, playing for Manchester City. So they're going to give the U.S. problems. Now, for the first time in this competition, the U.S.'s first team is not going to play a side that just wants to bunker down and counterattack. So I think this game has a chance to be really end-to-end. For the first time, we're going to see the U.S. probably in a counterattacking sense. I think they're going to press Belgium high. They're going to try to dispossess them at the back, get Christian Pulisic on the ball, get Fuller and Balogun moving, pulling defenders, and try to exploit that space with numbers caught out. Jeremy Doku and Belgium will also be throwing numbers forward. There will be space for the U.S. to counterattack in behind. Now, Tyler Adams and the U.S. midfield are critical in this game to cover ground, to cut off Kevin De Bruyne's passing lanes, and to shut things down in the middle of the field. That makes Tyler Adams enormous for the U.S. against Belgium. I think this has a chance to be one of the best round of 16 games at this World Cup. Like I said, Belgium is a better team talent-wise, but the U.S., you can make an argument, has looked better than Belgium in this competition. And they did play each other back in March. It was a 5-2 friendly win by Belgium. Throw that out the window. The lineups were different. The U.S. was experimenting with different things. half the players on the field were completely different from that game. Not to mention the U.S. were pretty competitive for the first half of that game before you start to make all these changes, which happens in a friendly. I'm out of breath because I'm just walking around out here and it's very hilly. So I think this has a chance to be an absolute classic. Cannot believe Fuller and Balogun is going to play for this team. But like I said, you love to see it. Fuller and Balogun is as free as the United States on his 250th birthday. This is about revenge, man, for that 2014 round of 16 loss to Belgium. This is justice for Tim Howard, who had a World Cup record 16 saves in that game. This is justice for Chris Wondolowski, who put an absolute sitter over the bar that could have forced a penalty shootout in that game. This is justice for that 2014 United States men's national team that had a valiant effort against a loaded Belgium squad and was narrowly edged out in extra time. The United States is going to do this. I think they're going to do this. I think they're going to go and take this to Belgium and move on to the quarterfinal. And I'll be talking to you guys about the U.S. playing for a spot in the semi. Say hi, Megan.
Love the Megans. Also, this idiot, I couldn't get him to do anything with the TikTok mics at the Combine with the Vols players. He's got a whole mic set up in Brazil to send us. He won't do videos when he's here. He's sending 4.5-minute preview videos.
The only thing I took away from that, oh, we're so back, baby. This is for all of those people he named. I can't remember them. I don't know what their names are, but they live inside of me. They live inside of you.
Pause.
They live inside of everybody in this country. And tonight, when we put on those red, white, blue uniforms, that's all that matters. Belgium is going to be looking up, wishing they were back home eating their waffles. When they look up at the scoreboard and they're counting the lights and they get to realize that they got to go against the United States of America. Go USA.
I am not going to support corruption unless it goes in our favor.
That's right.
Tonight, we become one with the soccer universe. We have heard about the corruption of FIFA. We have witnessed the corruption of FIFA. We've never had to care about the corruption of FIFA because we haven't mattered in this way. But tonight, corruption is on our side.
Corruption is not bad. Corruption is only bad if I'm not involved.
Yes.
But if I'm part of that corruption, I'll defend it.
Yeah! Tonight, we are a part of the corruption.
Yeah!
Tonight, we defend it. Tonight, we stick it to those Belgium pansies. I don't know.
Ball again, and ball again, and ball again, and we keep doing it over and over again. I hope he scores. What's the all-time record for goals scored in a game?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question.
20? I don't know. 20. How much does a banana cost? I had no idea.
I couldn't tell you what a banana costs. I am that scene. It's my entire life. Fitzy's so right about me showing up at that hotel just expecting them to cater to my every whim.
When he told me, I could not even be surprised. That is the most Buck thing I have ever heard in my life.
I won't check my email. I won't respond to texts, but I will expect you to wait on me hand and foot when I get there. Go USA.